Welcome back, everyone, to Space City X-Files, your channel for the in-depth examinations of the unknown. This week's episode is going to be another strange happening episode. And why? Well, because there's just a lot of strange shit going on in the world. Way too much for us to pass up, so here we are. So we'll do a strange happening episode this week and then resume our single topic show again next Tuesday. So either way, it's a win-win for you because there's a lot of interesting things in today's show that you may want to know about. So real quick before we get into the details, we'd like to take a minute to thank all of our friends and family for listening to today's show. Thank you for all your continued support. One thing you'll notice throughout today's show is that Space City X-Files does not run ads. And this allows us to give you the best possible experience, in our opinion, okay? Our goal is to stay ad-free, and that's where your help plays a huge part. If you like today's episode, please take a few minutes at the conclusion to leave us a 5-star rating and a short review, and this does wonders in bringing in new listeners, and it also helps us with breaking through those algorithms, leading to us being placed in front of bigger and larger crowds to find those truth seekers, you know? So, should you want to support with the monetary donation, you can always do that on our website under the Support Us tab. Thank you for being a part of Space City X-Files. We appreciate your help and your consideration, and this will conclude today's announcements. All right, topic number 1 is about a strange story I came across the other day about AI. Now, I'm sure by now you probably all heard your fair share of controversial stories surrounding the technology, whether it be plagiarism in schools or tech giants worried that the AI will accelerate beyond our control and destroy us all. But this one here falls more on the spirituality spectrum, okay? Now, a company called Cartloaf LLC has created an app called Text with Jesus, and well, that's exactly what the app is about. So using AI, the Bible, and machine learning, they created an app that allows you to talk to Jesus himself in real time and all the other Bible characters, where they share wisdom directly from the scriptures in reply to whatever question you may have. Anything about life, they're going to give you the scripture that applies to it. Does that sound kind of strange? Does that make you feel a little uneasy? Well, it gets a little weirder. So apparently the devil is an unlockable character that you two can also communicate with. And so on the app's website, it shows a few examples of the conversations that people have had with the app. People asking it questions, but it doesn't show anything about Satan. In fact, it steers completely away from mentioning that little tidbit of information. To find out that that's even a possibility, you would have to search through the frequently asked questions, scroll through about 5, 6, 7 of them, and finally come across the details. And in response to the head-scratching feature of conversing with the Dark Lord, the company has listed in the FAQ section the following response. All right, and this is verbatim. It says, Satan is included in the app to provide a comprehensive understanding of biblical narratives, reflecting the character's role as described in the Bible. However, interaction with Satan is turned off by default and must be manually enabled by the user if they choose to engage with this figure. The portrayal is rooted in Christian teachings, and users have full control over their engagement with all the figures in this app. End quote. I don't know, man. I mean, that's very odd to say the least, if you ask me. I mean, sure, this is just AI. Some will say it's basically just a learning program, and it can't deviate from what it's been programmed to say, but that's just it. That's just it. You know what I mean? Somebody had to program this thing. Someone had to enter the details into the software, and they did that based off of what? Well, it's a human interpretation, basically, of what the Bible says, how the scriptures apply. And so in this way, the app has essentially made itself a middleman between God and the people who use it. And this has always been a kind of gray area when it comes down to technology and religion, or even there's a lot of other topics that, people feel kind of uneasy whenever it infringes or encroaches on this particular category. And I'm not trying to be a Bible thumper or nothing like that. I used to go to church, but I don't do much anymore. I've gone through some changes, but I still believe in God, and I know that there is a creator. But I'm also very aware of how some use the word of the Bible to support their own motives. Now, I personally have no firsthand experience with this app, and to be honest, I wouldn't even download it. I wouldn't even go there. But if you decide to check it out, you want to let us know how it went, send us an email to info@spacecityxfiles.com. We'd love to hear your experience of how it went. And there's some listening, though, that they kind of been waiting maybe to see how long it would have took, or how long it would have taken for AI to kind of cross into these sensitive areas. Because now you have AI dating, your AI boyfriend or girlfriend, and then now you have it AI Jesus, who's going to give you the answers to life. And to them, to people that are kind of expecting to see this, maybe this don't seem so harmless to them. This is why some kind of worry about that. It really shocked me whenever I seen it. And I just wanted to share it with you because I think you would get a kick out of it too. Whatever the case, I think for now, it's just a matter of perception. I mean, as it develops, I'm sure we'll hear more feedback on it. So until then, we'll be definitely following the story, and we'll give you some updates as they come. All right, topic number 2. If you live in the United States, this will pertain to you more. But if you're in another country, be mindful of this news too. Don't just hit fast forward on us on this one, because it could be coming to your front door very soon. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has announced in a bulletin that on October 4th, it will be performing a test of the national broadcast system. And I'll just read the memo in length, all right? It's really quick. It's not very long. So at the beginning of the memo, it's got in big, bold letters where it says, test messages will be sent to all TVs, radios, and cell phones. And then it continues. It says, Washington --FEMA. And it says, in coordination with the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, will conduct a nationwide test of the Emergency Alert System, the EAS, and the Wireless Emergency Alert System, the WEA, and that'll be this fall. The national test will consist of 2 portions testing WEA and EAS capabilities. Both tests are scheduled to begin at approximately 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, October 4th. The WEA portion of the test will be directed to all consumer cell phones. This will be the 3rd nationwide test, but the 2nd test to all cellular devices. All right, keep that in mind. The test message will display in either English or Spanish, depending on the language settings of the wireless handset. The EAS portion of the test will be sent to radios and televisions. This will be the 7th nationwide EAS test. FEMA and the FCC are coordinating with the EAS participants, wireless providers, emergency managers, and other stakeholders in preparation for this national test to minimize confusion and to maximize the public safety value of the test. All right. And then it says the purpose of the October 4th test is to ensure that the systems continue to be effective way of warning the public about emergencies, particularly those on the national level. In the case of the October 4th test, in case the October 4th test is postponed, due to widespread severe weather or other significant events. The backup testing date is October 11th, so make a mental note about that one also. Sorry. It says the WEA portion of the test will be initiated using FEMA's integrated public alert and warning systems, a centralized internet-based system administered by FEMA that enables authorities to send authenticated emergency messages to the public through multiple communication networks. The WEA test will be administered via a code sent to cell phones. This year's EAS message will be disseminated as a common alert protocol message via the integrated public alert and warning systems open platform for emergency networks. It says all wireless phones should receive the message only once. The following can be expected from the nationwide WEA test. All right, so I'm going to read you what the test is supposed to be. It says, beginning at approximately 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time, cell towers will broadcast the test for approximately 30 minutes. During this time, WEA-compatible wireless phones that are switched on within range of an active cell tower and whose wireless providers participate in WEA should be capable of receiving the test message. For consumers, the message that appears on their phone will read, "This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. No action is needed." Phones with the main menu set to Spanish will display, "Esta es una prueba del Sistema Nacional de Alerta de Emergencia. No se necesita acción." WEA alerts are created and sent by authorized federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial government agencies through iPaws to participating wireless providers, which deliver the alerts to compatible handsets in geo-targeted areas. To help ensure that these alerts are accessible to the entire public, including people with disabilities, the alerts are accompanied by a unique tone and vibration. So make a mental note about that also. It's important information about the EAS test. All right, so now this is the EAS portion. The EAS portion of the test is scheduled to last approximately 1 minute and will be conducted with the participation of radio and television broadcasters, cable systems, satellite radio, and television providers, and wireline video providers. The test message will be similar to the regular monthly EAS test message with which the public is familiar. It will state, "This is a nationwide test of the alert emergency system issued by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, covering the United States from 1420 to 1450 hours Eastern Time. This is only a test. No action is required by the public." So there you have it. 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when the test begins, and it lasts for approximately an hour and a half. And should there be a widespread disaster of some sort, remember they're going to switch the dates and they'll do the test on 11th. Oh, I wonder what kind of a disaster could happen nationwide that would make them want to, postpone a signal test that's only supposed to last an hour or so. Anyways, make a little mental note about that detail because that might be important too. And it says, so why are people on the edge about this test? I mean, it's not like they weren't done before, right? And that's true. They've been done before. We all know the little tone that comes through on your TV or your phone that kind of scares the shit out of you when you're not paying attention. But this is where the 5G theory enters the chat room, all right? And it intertwines with the shot that many people took recently. I won't say what the shot was for, because every time I do, my videos get taken down. So I'm not gonna mention anything specifically, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And so I found a video on YouTube from 2018, October to be exact on the month, where a FEMA representative was speaking on the recent nationwide test that had just passed. All right. And it was very similar to the test that we're about to have on the 4th. And in the video, he talks about the concern that not enough people were getting the message. Now, whether it be from them just not watching TV at the time it came out, or maybe the provider didn't participate in the emergency program, there was a whole slew of points that he ran through. Anyways, his main point was that they needed a greater reach. This was in 2018 of October. All right. Well, what do you know, just a few months later, at the beginning of 2019, 5G starts to roll out all across the country, replacing 4G systems everywhere. All right. And now 5G is supposed to be more efficient. There's many people that will argue that fact. But your loving government says that it's the best for the country, and so that's what it's going to be. And that's what happened. So keep in mind that 5G is significantly stronger, which means a stronger RF wave, aka radiation. And one of the things that 5G can do that 4G didn't so well is a technique called beamforming. All right. And so 4G had to broadcast out in all different directions, right? From tower to tower. And if you were in the area, it would find its way to your phone. Well, with 5G, this tower can pretty much bypass that system, and it can just beam it directly to your device digitally. All right. And the digital part of this beamforming process is what supposedly regulates the amperage, so it doesn't catch you on fire or disintegrate you or give you cancer or any of that good stuff. All right. So don't worry. It's under control. They got it. Continuing on with the theory. What else came along in 2019? The same time 5G was rolling out. Oh yeah. That year would also see the start of the pandemic, causing many people to get scared and rightfully worry about their lives, so they ended up taking a certain shot, which was supposed to help them. Well, since things have calmed down in our world and the world didn't end, many people have kind of awoken from fear-induced slumber, and many a controversy has sprung up concerning that very shot that has no name. One being that it contains a certain element that can react to radio frequencies, causing catastrophic health issues. Now, I won't say what this ingredient is. I got it on another video, so if you want to hear about that, go watch Strange Happenings. Go watch Strange Happenings 7. No, 6. I'm sorry. 6 got deleted from YouTube and all that stuff, but it's on there, and it goes into detail. So if you want to hear that, go to my website, spacecityxfiles.com, and you can listen to it there. But unfortunately, these social media companies, they will have zero tolerance when it comes down to talking about the shot or anything, and the virus that has no name also. All right, so I'm not going to go there, but if you want to learn more about it, go check those videos out. All right, and so anyways, all right, so as we stated earlier, there's been tests, right? I mean, why are people on edge? There's been these kind of tests before, and there has to have been one, right? Since 2018, since that last video from the FEMA director who was talking about there wasn't enough reach, they weren't reaching enough people, and yeah, there was. In fact, in 2021, that was the last of this type of test, and so that should put the issue to rest, right? I mean, that should pretty much tell us that, hey, they did this test before in 2021. 5G was out. The shots were, the virus was out or whatever, and nothing happened then. The world didn't end. The zombie apocalypse didn't happen. All the things that people are claiming these days that could happen when they do this test. And, you can roll your eyes if you want, but the government does have a zombie apocalypse plan. So if you don't believe me, just go check it out. You'll find it. But anyhow, it should be put to rest, being that the last test was in 2021. Only it isn't. It's not. And people are still worried. So, here's why. For one, at the time of the last test, 5G was available in, drumroll, 30%, less than 30% of the country. All right, that's not very much. This is a big country. You want to know where it's at now? Now it's at more than 70% of the country, probably closer to 80. All right, and it's growing every day. Keep in mind too that all those lovable boosters that were being recommended were still being recommended up until a few months ago, and there's people still getting them to this day. So there's that. You have to add that to the equation. And when you add that to the equation and you combine all of this with the worry that 5G, being as powerful as it is, emitting a frequency for hours, blanketing the entire, over 80% of the country, and the end result from all this is a legitimate concern for our safety. And if you don't know about the power behind sound frequencies, then I seriously recommend that you check this out ASAP, because it can do some amazing things. Our ancestors, thousands of years ago, certainly knew about the power of frequency. And from that point to present day, the practice has been in place, and it's still being used to this day for healing purposes, for relaxation, for trauma treatment. It's being used in all types of things. And so keep in mind too that the government has experimented with frequencies before, on more than a few occasions, right? You want to know a few? Okay, well, MK Ultra. All right, that's a big one. The Montauk Project, that was huge when it came down to frequencies. These are familiar cases that might ring a bell. And if it doesn't ring a bell for you, then check out our previous episodes, and you will find out everything you need to know about that. So what can you do? What can you do about this? Well, we're not here to tell you exactly what to do. All right, that's not us. What we're doing is we're just informing you on what many are saying around the water cooler. We're just informing you that people have legitimate concern about what's going on. All right. But to try to be as helpful as possible, some actions that could be taken would be to stay off all devices, turn them off, make sure that you know when 2 p.m. Eastern time is on your time zone. So compensate for the time difference, all right? Keep your phones off. Perhaps run your battery out, because there's kind of a little debate on whether whether the signal will actually turn your phone on from an off position. So just, consider these things. Do whatever you can do. Basically, whatever you can do to remove yourself from the exposure of this, okay? And remember, it will be on radios, TVs, satellite, and streaming services also. Very important about that, streaming services. It kind of makes you think, though. What if this is just a psyop? I was reading this on a board too. What if all this is just a little mindfuck that they're trying to do? They tell us, oh, we're going to send you a signal, so what if they want us to turn our devices off and miss something? To be honest, I don't know. You can go around in circles in this all day long. It may be one of those damned if you do or damned if you don't situations, but for me, it's better to err on the side of caution, so I will be in the crowd of turning my stuff off. So, there you have it. Just thought you'd like to know this little bit of information. Feel free to send us a message, send us an email, hit us up on social media if you want to chit chat about it. We're always down to have a conversation with you. And don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you like today's episode, leave us a small review and a 5-star rating. Help us break through that glass ceiling. Help us get in front of those people that need to hear this kind of stuff too. Just think about it. There's people out there that don't have somebody looking out for them like this, because that's what we're doing. We're genuinely trying to look out for people. I mean, this is something that, I don't know. We won't know until it happens, but if it did, at least you had an early warning system or something like it, you know? And so that's what we need. We need your help to get in front of those people that haven't heard about it yet. And whatever the case, if we're all alive after the 4th, then I'll see you again on the 10th for another episode of the Space City X-Files. Until we meet again, this is Rick. Keep questioning, keep listening, and keep exploring.
Spacey!